Hello, Dead in Sports Nation. This is me, Mr. Ken, and BZ430. We're in mourning.
Right.
We didn't do the show last night because of the election, the prime show, the main sports show. And by now, everybody knows what happened, man. Trump is president. And here we are.
He's elected president. Barack
he's
still our president. He won't get officially in until like mid-January sometime in inauguration, but he's elected president now. He is our elected president for this upcoming 4 years in the United States in the Oval Office.
Yep. So that's that. But the show must go on just the way we must go on for the next 4 years of this. So here we are. Happy that you guys are joining us. And we're gonna talk about fantasy football like we do every week. And hopefully we'll have some info that may help you guys win your league. How did you do, B, last week?
I went 3-2. Lost in the real NFL to another inferior team. Got my second L. I'm 7-2 in the real NFL. That's the league with me and myself and Ken in that league. And there's 3 teams in that league now that's 7-2. So it's really interesting fighting for the top spot. Now it's like we're fighting for bye weeks because now we got a fantasy regular season football. So, as of course, playoff starts in week 14 in the NFL for fantasy football. So we got week 10, 11, 12, and 13. So yeah, it's coming down to nitty gritty. And I lost in another league. I got my butt kicked in that league. It's another Yahoo league I'm in. 40 points, 63 to 103. That's the team that's struggling. And I managed to pull out 2 of the Dead in Sports League, the NFL.com one. I'm in a hunt now because that league only has 4 teams going to the playoffs. So, and I'm 5, but the guy that's in 4th, we're both 5 and 4. Got me on points. But that league, that was a team I didn't think I was going to have a shot in making the playoffs, but I'm in it. I'm still in it, man. I can make a fight for that one. I'm undefeated, still undefeated, 9-0 in the ESPN Dead in Sports League. I'm surprised that I'm not clinched yet. I'm team name because you figure 13 weeks, I'm 9-0. I can go 9-4 and still make the playoffs in this league. I'm surprised I didn't clinch yet. And then in my main league, kick butt again. I am showing why my team in there in that league can with Matt Ryan, Jordy Nelson, Antonio Brown, Melvin Gordon's playing like an animal from Chicago, and he was on bye. And I picked up Hightower, which was a good pickup for me. He did good for me just for this bye week. So, I won in one of the leagues that I really wanted to win in, which was my main league, but I lost it in real NFL because in the real NFL, in my playoff spot, I want to get that bye week, man, in that league. So, like, I'm fighting with you, and you get these top 2 spots, these bye weeks. So, interesting week.
Yeah, man, we say it every year, and we talk about how tough that league is, the one that you and I are in, and to be 7-2 each week is an accomplishment, but to have three teams at 7-2 and then the 4th team at 6-3, whom I beat last week, shows how competitive that league is. And you got to bring it every week or it's a wrap. So I'm just happy I won. I thought I lost. So I was pleased to see that I did manage to pull it out. And Aaron Rodgers pulled it out at the last minute because he had to play catch up. And
what you think? What you think about the league? That means told you we are getting going at the right time of the year. I think our team is going to be dangerous, man. It seems like Forte is on the roll. You know what Elliott is gonna do. I really think we on the roll with that one, man. What you think?
I think we are. We have to win this week. This is this is a big game. When we're 7th seed, we win, we go into the 6th seed, and right now I think we have, I mean, in terms of point score, we have the strongest team in the league anyway. Yeah. But they just got to show up every week, and the other team can have out-of-body experiences against us, as they have. So we just keep winning, and all we need is a 6th seed. I think we get in the playoffs, and we say it every year, man. We've been saying it since last year. All you need to do is get in the playoffs. If you're not rolling and you have 7-2 or 8-1 or whatever, just focus on getting in the playoffs, and anything can happen, and that's it. So, but yeah. So overall for me, man, I had another good week. I went 26-1.
Oh wow!
I would have been
almost.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I was almost 21-6 again, like I was last week. But what happened was Derrick Henry got hurt in warmups, and I couldn't switch him out, and it was too late because he got me 0 points, and I ended up tying at 69 all with the guy I played. And what was crazy was I thought I had a terrible week because I had to start Sammy Coates and Devontae Parker, and you know how that turned out. But the guy I played had Tavon Austin and Des Bryant, and they got him a combined 2 points. And I had Julio and I think Melvin Gordon. So Melvin Gordon ended up making up for the lack of production from my receiver spot, and that was pretty much all I needed. So I was really surprised to win that league. So, but yeah, man, overall, man, all of my teams are starting to kind of find their momentum. And the topic of this show, or just really the overall theme of this show, is just bye weeks. And is this the last bye week?
No, I think bye weeks go all the way up to week 12, buddy.
Okay. But it's the last heavy bye week that we've experienced, like the bye apocalypse, I think is what they call it. So I think we have 4 teams off this week. But anyway, so getting through bye weeks, man, they're tough. They're tough. And in the NFL league, I'm 7-2. I've won 5 straight since Brady came back. I played Q this week, and I barely won. That's the one where everybody make all these moves, and I barely won because I had like three guys on bye, and I just had to pick up people and hope for the best. Fortunately for me, DeJuan Harris was on the waivers, and he balled out, and I really won by that. So yeah, man, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah. Also, too, man. Speaking of that NFL.com league, I posted a message up there talking about, what's the point of making you're making all these moves, and I can't remember these guys' team's name. I don't know if they're listening now to checking us out, but you're making all these moves because you're worrying about the wrong thing. You're worrying about you should be worrying about your team. It shouldn't. I mean, and maybe I'm just going off of just personal opinion and my personal experience of playing fantasy sports. When I'm picking up guys or get guys off the waiver wire, I'm getting it to fit for my squad. I'm not looking at Ken's squad or your squad or a next man squad or a next man squad trying to pick up guys just to pick them up, just so other guys won't get them. Guess what? If your team, I feel like my team is that good to where I don't care who you pick up, I'm gonna play my guys against your guys, and I'm gonna beat you. You know what I'm saying? So playing that, I don't know, man. I mean, I know it's only fantasy football, but I'm like, man, that's a sucker move to me. Like, that's such a sucker move to me. But if that's the way you want to play to try to win and one up your opponent, better to you, but more be it. But yeah, man, if you're playing for the waivers, do it to fit your squad. That's what I'm doing. If I'm picking up guys, I'm trying to get guys from my squad. I'm not gonna pick up a quarterback or somebody who I know I'm not gonna play because I have, such and such plan already week in, week out. Well, I'm gonna pick them up for just to stop you from picking them up. That's stupid. That don't make sense.
Well, yeah, and I think it distracts you from the overall goal, and that's to win every week. And if that's part of your strategy is to pick up a guy that you think somebody else is going to pick up that they may not even play, then what's the point? If your team is good enough, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
I only need guys to fill in for bye week.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I'm gonna put them back on the waivers, and y'all can get them because there's a reason why they are on waivers. And I'm not gonna carry 2 quarterbacks anyway. So I just dropped Ryan Tannehill. And somebody else I picked up this week. They're back on the waivers. And if somebody want to go get them, then go get them. I don't need them. I just need the guys that I drafted or the guys that I picked up to fill a void. That's going to be starters for my team. And that's it. And if they get hurt, I'll replace them with somebody else and I'll ride that out.
Yep.
But there's no value in having somebody that you're not going to play sitting on your bench when you're playing somebody that's probably not going to play him anyway because they have better players than the guy that you picked up on waivers because they're hot. It's really kind of like that simple. So yeah, man, it's interesting. I've never seen a strategy like that before. Like if I pick up somebody, it's with a purpose, and it's not to make sure nobody else get him. It's with the intent to play him at some point or as insurance. And that's it. And even the whole handcuffing thing, I'm gonna evaluate that because I think that's had me a little bit out of character here and there as well. Because some of these guys that are backups, they're not good, man.
Yeah,
they're not good. And I'm seeing that with Jerick McKinnon. As good as he is, they continue to throw a platoon with Matt Asiata and Ronnie Hillman. Like, give the guy to work, but that's a whole other conversation. And the Vikings just can't block, and we saw that when they had Peterson.
Yep.
McKinnon has all the talent in the world, but if nobody's going to create holes, Todd Gurley, you're not going to do anything. And so you gotta eat that. So yeah, that was quite interesting. Real quick to go through some news. Spencer Ware has been cleared to practice. You may want to still hold on to Sarkandrick West, but he did nothing last week. He was really ineffective. Doug Martin is back in practice. He has a hamstring, so he might get hurt again. Also, so approach that with caution. But he's probably won't play this week. He's probably about another week away. Mike Evans is practicing, which is good because he had a concussion. He had a big game last week. Mark Ingram, this is the big news, man. Mark Ingram and Tim Hightower will split carries, and that goes back to what you were saying, B, to stay away from Mark Ingram. And it definitely hurts me because I drafted him to be a starter because I don't have good receivers. So there's that. And you know what? I want to go in and I'll come back. No. Let's do it now. Jimmy Graham. I tweeted you and I said that I told you Jimmy Graham was back. You said Jimmy Graham has to be consistent to enough for you in order for you to consider him.
Let's see if Jimmy Graham will be on It Was All Good just a week ago next week. We're going to find that out.
Look, man, I'm pulling up his stats now. Like, I think when you look at some of the games he has failed to produce, the offense overall has struggled. But, dog, like he's had 1, 2, 3 games of over 100 yards receiving. He had another at 89 yards, and then he had another like at 50 something. But look at the targets he's receiving. Like since week 3, this started in week 3. He's had targets of 8. He's at 8 targets or more in all of those games except one, and that was the one where I don't know what happened in New Orleans, but they just had a bad offensive showing. Yeah, that was last week, and he only had 5 targets that game. But in week 3, he had 9 targets, 6 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Week 8, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 113. Week 9, 6 receptions, 89 yards. That's good at the tight end position. Week 7, against Arizona, 10 targets, 5 receptions, 53 yards. That's the 6-6 tie. Nobody produced really. Week 8, 5 for 3 for 34. And then, of course, what happened Monday. Like, he's getting the opportunities and the work. And I think that's important. When you look at the tight end position that's starving for talent, he has to be top 5. He has to be top 5. And I think you should be comfortable rolling him out on a week-to-week basis. I think he's back, man. I think he's back. Look at the game log, B.
Let's see if he's gonna end up on it. It was all good just a week ago. Jimmy Graham. So
he had 3 points, 3.4 if you do decimal scoring in week 8, and then he had the bad week in week 1 where he had 1 reception for 11 yards. Outside of that, I think he's double digits in 1, 2, or close to it, 3, 4 out of 8 games. Oh, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. Everybody has a dud. So anyway, who was on your milk carton list for this week?
All right. So milk carton list. Let's pull this up right quick. This is funny. I always like doing these because players they show up missing. Hold on. Notepad. Yeah, first I think you mentioned them before. First guy on the list, Charkandrick West. I played him thinking he was gonna kind of at least give me about 11 to 12 points. He didn't. Only gave me 6.8. Landry, another guy that's ticking me off. Jarvis Landry, only 3.6 points this week in fantasy football. Devontae Booker, only 3.1 points. Tennessee's defense, -0.60. Brandon Marshall, I don't know what's going on with him. Only 5.1 points. Amari Cooper, you would think with Derek Carr eating up, going crazy, that Amari Cooper would get some of that love. Only 6.2 points. Dez Bryant with only 2 points. That's only 1 reception for 19 yards. Derek Carr, who had a pretty off week this past week, with only as a QB, he give you anywhere between 9 to 11 points this week in fantasy football. My studs are Latavius Murray with 30 points, roughly 114 yards, 3 touchdowns, and again the beast Melvin Gordon with 33 points, roughly 33 to 35 points, 196 rushing yards, and 65 reception yards with 3 touchdowns, man. So those are my studs. I got a counter for your it was all good this week ago. So when you do it was all good this week ago, I got one. I like to call this segment the vapors. So it's kind of like someone that you dissed last week, but now you love them this week. So when you do it was all good this week ago, you just let me know and I'm gonna do my vapors.
Okay, all right. Yeah, man. This week it could have went to Derrick Henry, but he got hurt, so he's spared. It's gonna be Dez Bryant, man. I'm just gonna jump right to it.
What did he do last week? I don't even remember what he did last week.
Man, last week Dez Bryant had 14 targets, 4 receptions, 113 yards, and a touchdown.
Oh,
17.3 points.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
You're playing Cleveland.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You should put up numbers. Jason Witten was responsible for one of my losses this week. I was so disgusted.
Dak was eating out there, so you would have think Dez Bryant would have got some of that love.
Yep. Nope. He did not. 2 receptions for 19 yards, 1 reception for 19 yards, or something like that.
1 reception for 19 yards, 4 targets.
Yeah. Like it's incredible, man. And you're playing Cleveland, like
right.
You're supposed to produce. Which, speaking of that, we have we got to think about. Wait, no, I'm thinking about Devontae Booker versus New Orleans because I know you haven't benched, and on the squad this week. Let's monitor that situation because I know they're talking about he's going to split work with Bibbs. I heard that. I disagree with it. I hope they don't think that Booker's poor outing last week had anything to do with Booker being ineffective. I think it had a lot to do with them thinking they can come out and throw all over the Raiders with Trevor Siemian, who is pretty much a game manager. Their whole game plan was totally off. Like, I think they had like 6 pass attempts or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think we got Howard. I think Booker is I don't know if we might play him.
Yeah, it may not be worth the risk, but especially considering they may talk about splitting the work or getting Bibbs more involved. Bibbs got lucky on that carry that he reversed field and ran for a 69-yard touchdown. I think we'll see exactly how good he is. But it's something worth watching. I got him in some leagues, so I think I even have him benched in some other leagues where I don't have to play him this week. So I'm gonna just kind of monitor that situation. But that just came to me. Anyway, so that was my all good week ago. So there you have it. So you said you got your vapors guy?
Got the vapors. Last week, people was hating this dude, even though I don't care for him. I still don't. I'm not sold. But Mark Ingram, negative 1.5, and he had, in some, depending on your scoring, 29 to 31 points. Oh, people was loving him. People act like they didn't know him last week, and now he blew up, and now they got the vapors, man. So that's why I call it the vapors, because it's like last week he didn't do nothing, but this week now you loving all of them. Another guy too. This guy he hadn't scored over 15 points in the last 3 weeks. And now this week he put up 33, 34 points. And that was Russell Wilson. That's another guy, vapors. Now all of a sudden, one of my homeboys, Jimmy Graham is in the offense now. He's moving and grooving. He found his groove. So now all of a sudden you was ready to throw Russell Wilson out to the waivers, and now you loving on him. So get out of here with your vapors loving. So that's my vapors for this week. It's Mark Ingram and Russell Wilson, man. Y'all couldn't stand them last couple weeks, and all of a sudden they all sweethearts. So got the vapors.
Yeah, I might create like some put these on Instagram or something for the Dead End Sports account. Make sure you follow that and follow Dead End Sports on all the socials. The interesting thing about Ingram is I played him, and I know they were talking about getting Tim Hightower some work. Trust me, that's going to be short-lived. Tim Hightower is going to fumble, which is the reason why they're doing this anyway, and it's going to be back to Ingram. I think that's the way I look at this situation. But he played against San Francisco, and I was like, he's good for one, and boy, did he get it. So I took a chance, and he won me a game last week. And who was the other guy you were talking about? Russell Wilson. I want everybody to remember this was around the same time Russell Wilson caught fire last year, and he was lighting teams up.
Yep. Around like week 9, week 10, he just started getting in that groove.
Yep. The Seahawks want to throw the ball, and I think that we're seeing Christian Michael. They just don't have any faith in him anymore. So you can expect Thomas Rawls to probably either get that position back when he comes back. And we're seeing a changing of the guard. But they want to throw the ball, man. They want to throw the ball with Russell Wilson. And Jimmy Graham's going to help them do that. We saw Javon Curse just drop the touchdown. Jimmy Graham caught 2 unbelievable touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So you know where they want to get the ball to. And Doug Baldwin make plays too. So they're the guys. And if they can somehow find a way to get Curse and Lockett more involved, especially Lockett in the slot, that offense can open up for everybody and they can eat. But I almost made a mistake, a critical mistake, this week because I played Russell Wilson over Jameis Winston, and I knew Jameis Winston was going to put up points against Atlanta.
Points too. He put up
points too. And I needed all 30 points. I needed every single thing that Russell Wilson had to win this week, because if I would have played Jameis Winston, I would have won. Considering Russell Wilson's past performances, that was extremely risky of me to make that move, but I took that chance. I was like, you know what? If they get it going, and if this is around the same time that he got going last year, I think he can do it. So I took a risk, and it paid off for me, fortunately. So so there's that. What I want to talk about, man, and I think that I don't know how long this is going to last. You have him. I have him. He's been very, very impactful on my team. Melvin Gordon. And it's funny because Melvin Gordon is like the vapors of fantasy football this year, period, right? Because everybody hated him last year and dogged him out and thought he really wasn't good. And when you look at how he ended up in this position, he's never here if old boy didn't get hurt. We never would have seen how good Melvin Gordon can be as an every down back, running out of the backfield and receiving. And I think there's a lesson to be learned here for not only football coaches. Give you guys a shot, give you guys a chance and see what they can do. And more importantly, for fantasy football, because sometimes, man, you have to evaluate the situations and read the tea leaves and read the reports to kind of see what is going to happen this year. Sometimes you can just take a chance as long as you got studs in every position. Melvin Gordon was a guy I wanted this year because I had a feeling he was going to have a bounce back year. I don't know who was going to do this. No one did. But who was the guy that got hurt? What's his name?
Danny Woodhead.
Danny Woodhead opened the door for Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
I will say this because we're all eating off Melvin Gordon.
Yes, we are.
I hope the rest of your team is good because the playoffs, when you're going this good, B, I know you can attest to this.
Yeah. Go ahead and say
it. That dud is coming, and it's going to come in the playoffs right when you need it.
And I'm hoping, man, I am praying, especially in the ESPN Dead in Sports League that I'm 9-0 in, and in the real NFL that we're 7-2 in. I hope, and oh my God, I hope that does not happen in this, especially in the undefeated league, man. I'm like, I better not go like 12-1 and then lose my first playoff match. My team scored 60 points.
I've done that.
I know. I have to. I've dominated the season and playoffs. I have a bye week. Ken, I have a bye week in the playoffs. And then come my first playoff matchup, which is be the semifinals, my team will score 70 points. But then peep this, though. This makes it even worse. You lose that week. You're playing in the third place consolation game. Your team score. I do my lineups just out of spite to see what they do. My team score 120-something, 130-something points. And I'm like, what the hell was that? Comes the season, the semifinals. So yeah, man.
Oh my God, that is the worst feeling in the world.
I like some of my championship seasons came from when I like barely squeaked in the playoffs and my team just got rolling at the right time. Certain players, a certain team a player might get injured, or vice versa, or someone I'm going against, a player might be injured and they don't play, and I advance and go to the finals and win. So there's been times where I've been 7-6 and won a championship, opposed to going 10-3 or 11-2. And it's like, then like you said, your team would be a dud just at the wrong time in the playoffs. So, man.
Yeah, and this is why I say, at least for me, in my experience, I just need to make the playoffs because I've drafted a good team. I've just had bad luck. And I'm confident that the good team that I drafted, that I envisioned in my head, will peak right at the time that I need it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you construct a team and you build a team, you build it a certain way. And look, we've all had just rough seasons. It happens. But I've been doing this for so long, man. Like the team that I put together is they should work. They're good on paper. And they just happen to lose games. Like our prime example is our team, King 430.
Yeah.
That is a prime example. And
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're leading that league in points.
We are. Yeah.
I don't get it.
But we know the team is good. We just need to hang on. And once it clicks. Because would you rather go, 9-0 or 8-1 and then go 1-5 down the stretch? And I'm just throwing that number out. Or would you rather go 1-5 and then win out? So that's how you kind of have to mentally look at it. And that's why, and you said it on Twitter, why it's important to always set your lineups. You're never out of it. This game is also a game of luck and chance. Things just happen.
I said this at the beginning. I think when we are at the beginning of the season, this fantasy football show for this season, it's been times where I started off 0-3, 0-4, and I still made the playoffs. And on the flip side, it's been times where I start off 3-0 or 4-1 or 5-1 or 5, or 4-0, and I barely missed the playoffs. So it just, man, it's crazy. Okay, Ken, I'm looking at our Ken's 430. We're 4-5, the 7th seed out of 12 teams, and we're leading this league in points. 950 points. The next guy, 869. But he's ranked 8th. He's an 8th seed. He's 4 and 5 as well. So it's like, that's crazy, man. Like, we're leading this league in points. But if you peep points against, we're leading in that. So with 947. So that, like you said, teams having out of body experiences when they play us. Every time when they play us, they score their best, because for total points we got 950, but for points against, when teams play us, out of these last 9 weeks, it's a total of 947. So that's why we're in 7th place, because that number is not lower, points against.
Yeah, and it's frustrating as hell, but you just got to hold on. You can't ever quit. I hate quitters. I despise. Just don't freaking quit.
Quit. Play spoiler. Do what I do. I play spoiler. If I'm like 1 and 7 at this point of the season, guess what? If I'm playing against you and you trying to beat the number 1 seed or try to have that bye, I'm gonna still do my lineup, because I'm gonna be like, nope, you can't get that bye. I'm gonna still beat your ass. Or if you a team that's fighting, if you a 5 seed trying to hang on to that playoff spot, and I'm 3 and 8, guess what? I'm gonna spoil you, and I'm still doing my lineups, and you ain't gonna be in that playoffs that easy. You ain't gonna see a 3 and 8 team and check your name off as a win and being like, oh, okay, I'm playing B team whack this year. I'm gonna still do my lineups and try to beat you. That's just my competitiveness that I have. I don't give up. Like Nova. Nova is a prime example. He was in a real NFL league, like, I think 3 years ago. He started off like about 1 and 5, and he ain't even do his lineups no more. Like, he completely just checked out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, man. You messing up the integrity of the league. Play all week, because like Ken said, you can start off 1 and 4, but guess what? If you make the right moves, the right pickup moves of the Waivers, you might pick up a couple of gems, and then your team could be dangerous. So,
the very first
football players, man, they ain't no fancy football players.
No. They pretend. They play. But the very first year I played fantasy football, I started out 2 and 4, and Trent Green got hurt, and was it this year that I picked up Kurt Warner, and I think I had Edgerrin James. Was it Edgerrin James or was it Robert Edwards? But either way it go, I know I had a team one year I was playing, and I went like 2 and 4 to start the season, and I won out. But I didn't quit, and that's the thing. And I pulled up my Yahoo profile that I've been playing under since 2003. And I have a team on here, man. In 2005, went 11. I finished 11 of 12. And every week, I tried to win. Because for one, I didn't want to finish last.
Right. You don't want that on your record, on your resume.
Right. Yep. And some years you just don't have it. Some years it's just bad luck. Injuries happen.
Yep.
But you just can't ever give up, man. I can't see the chat room, so I don't know what's going on with my MacBook. So I don't know if there were any questions in there that we could answer.
I'm about to see if it's any in here.
All right, and there was something else I wanted to mention too. I think people should know, but I can't find it or remember it. Watch the Kenneth, this running back situation in Baltimore. Kenneth Dixon has been a name that's been out there for a while. Terrence West has been atrocious, and they're playing Cleveland this Thursday. Cleveland that just gotten blown out by the Dallas Cowboys that haven't won a game. There are a lot of guys that have quit on that team, and a lot of fantasy players can eat. I'm not saying that you should pick up Kenneth Dixon to start him unless he's the confirmed starter, but I think at some point they are going to move away from Terrence West and give the guy a shot. So just something to monitor out there. That was it. Let me go back here. Fantasy football. 2 guys also you need to keep an eye on. Ladarius Green may be back, and he hasn't done it. We've seen him do it in stretches when people are hurt. He almost had a chance this year, but he got hurt. Jesse James ain't doing anything on the field. Ladarius Green is athletic. He's quick. He should have had the job in San Diego, but Gates is getting his Favre on. So he left. So somebody to watch. Add him to your scout list or your watch list. You don't necessarily have to pick him up unless you absolutely suck at tight end. And James Starks. We know that Green Bay is thirsty. They're thirsty for a running back.
Yeah, they are.
And he's been effective, but he's always been effective in a backup role. And when he's having a chance to be the starter, he just hasn't produced the way that he did in a backer role, which is good because that means that Ty Montgomery will still continue to get work, catching the ball out of the backfield and in the slot. So there's that. So just something just to keep in the back of your mind and to keep an eye on as the season goes on, especially when we get to playoffs and injuries. Like these are guys that could probably help you, the rest of the season. If you need them, don't just pick them up just cause. So we got any questions?
No questions. Just people just talking about, teams fighting and Trump winning and all that.
Oh, okay.
You have to win the Super Bowl because Trump won and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I just saw something about Tom Brady. Where is it? Let me go here. They said Gillingsley. Was it Gillingsley? Oh, never mind. I think his wife stopped Tom Brady from talking politics. Man, he never talked politics, so
yeah.
That's nothing to be concerned about. Anyway, gosh, man, I don't think I really have anything else or anything that's breaking or anything that's groundbreaking to go over this week. It's been one of those weeks, guys. Yesterday was heavy for a lot of people, and it was celebratory for a lot of people. For those that voted for Trump, they had a big day yesterday, and for those that didn't, it's a very sad day. I don't know where you sit on this side of the whole thing, and that's on you. So, but nevertheless, B man, I don't have anything, man, unless you had something. We could probably call it a night.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else, man. Just, hey, look, this is what I will say, though. We are in crucial moments in your fantasy football league. Now, this is the part where every win, literally every week is big from here on out. Like I said, we got 4 more weeks left. If you 4-5, if you 3-5,
is it that many? 4 before playoffs?
Yeah, because you figure week 14 is week 1 is the playoffs week. So you got week 10, which is this upcoming week 11, 12, and 13. So we got 4 more weeks left of the regular season before playoffs start. So if you especially if you in the playoffs where there's only 4 teams going. So every win counts. If you right at 500 or right below 500, every week's count. So good luck to those that's trying to fight these last few weeks, and good luck to folks that's trying to clinch a playoff spot too, because you got teams like myself, Ken, and other people that's 7-2. We're trying to get that win so we can see that asterisk next to our name. Once I see that asterisk next to my name, I can kind of breathe a little bit. I can say, okay, I'm in. Now it's really at the point if I want to try to if I know I can get that 1 or 2 seed where I can get a bye. Or if I know I'm gonna get a 3, 4, 5, or 6, then I live with that, and I'll just be like, okay, let's just get ready for, these playoffs and who I might possibly play in the first round and all that stuff. So yeah, man, we getting down to nitty gritty. This is the nitty gritty of fantasy football, and I love it. And
I don't know about you, man, but I think it's fun, man. I like fighting for a playoff spot. I like that, we're trying to get in. That's exciting.
That is.
Instead of just I like winning. I love to be 9-0. There's a certain thing that comes with that too, like dominance. But
right. But I like the position we're in because I feel like we're gonna get rolling, and then we're gonna steamroll into the playoffs, and then everything's gonna be good. Like I just feel it. I feel like we're getting hot at the right time. We started off pretty good. It was just teams having out of body experiences against us, and I think now I think we're about to kick it up a notch, and I think teams gonna be scared to play us coming playoffs, dude. I just think so.
Yeah, and I think yeah. So we'll see, but we got 4 weeks, guys, and we'll be checking in every week, man, to let you guys know how that's going and how everything else is going with our fantasy teams, and just stuff that we see. We're not fantasy football analysts, but we've been playing for a long time, and our experience comes into play in different ways than most because they crunch numbers and stuff like that, and that's part of it. But sometimes it's just gut feeling, and my gut feeling has a tendency to be right sometimes, and sometimes I miss. But anyway, man, as always, man, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Hey, Ken.